Good day, this is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you on May 26, 2024. I am currently in an area known as Janta in the eastern Bekaa Valley in Lebanon. In the distance behind me, a few kilometers away, is a mountain ridge that is actually Syrian territory. This particular valley is known as the birthplace of Hezbollah. Down in the valley there behind me were the very first training grounds for Hezbollah fighters. They were trained here by members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard who set up a headquarters in a nearby village known as Nabashit. And I'm going to be continuing from here to visit other areas which have been involved directly or indirectly in hostilities with the Israeli military over the year. This particular valley was chosen for Hezbollah training grounds because it's very difficult to attack by means of airstrikes and therefore provided some protection to the fighters and the trainees. I understand there is a road here from which one can pass illegally into Syria, and from this particular valley during the Syrian war, Hezbollah fighters advanced across these hills to the mountains off in the distance. You might be able to see there's an antenna that's currently a Syrian military outpost. But during the Syrian war, those hills off in the distance were actually occupied by jihadi rebels, and Hezbollah advancing from here defeated them, caused their withdrawal from the area, and it was retaken by the Syrian army afterwards. So we've now moved on from the valley of Janta, which was the site of the original training grounds of Hezbollah at the time of its formation, and we are in the village of Nabi al-Shait, which is a few kilometers away from Janta. Behind me is a shrine to the first Secretary General of Hezbollah. His name was Abbas al-Musawi. He was assassinated in 1992 in southern Lebanon in the town of Nabatea with his wife and children by an Israeli airstrike, and was replaced by Hassan Nasrallah, the current Secretary of General, who has lasted and survived in that position of Secretary General for a little more than 32 years now. One Israeli leader reportedly complained that the killing of the first Secretary General al-Musawi actually turned out to be contrary to the interests of Israel, because Nasrallah turned out to be an even more capable leader of Hezbollah than al-Musawi had been. This particular town and the areas around it are claimed by the Israelis to be the home to various military production facilities, and as a result, this area has been struck repeatedly by Israel through drone and airstrikes during the past 7 months. We're now going to go into the shrine and have a closer look at the legacy of this particular leader of Hezbollah. In the interior of the shrine to Abbas al-Musawi, the first Secretary General of Hezbollah, what you're looking at here is the vehicle in which he was killed. He was traveling by vehicle at the time to a location in South Lebanon where he was going to give a speech at a ceremony commemorating another co-founder of Hezbollah who had also been assassinated by the Israeli military. And here you're looking at the rear of the vehicle in which al-Musawi and his wife and child and a security guard were traveling at the time of his assassination. An Apache helicopter hovering not far away and monitoring the convoy in which Abbas al-Musawi was moving fired a Hellfire missile into the rear of the vehicle, killing instantly his child, al-Musawi, and his wife. The security guard survived, emerged from the vehicle on fire, and was badly burned, but he did survive. And the Israelis, after the fact, published footage of the strike by the Apache helicopter, and here's what it showed.
פוגע במרצדס השני והופך אותו באחת לכדור אש. טיל שני נורה לעבר המרצדס השני אך מחטיא. המרצדס מנסה נואשות לברוח, אך טיל נוסף מציג אותו והופך אותו למדורת אש. טיל נוסף נורה לעבר הריינג' רובר שסגר את השיירה ופוגע בו. הריינג' רובר הראשון בשיירה מנסה להימלט ומגיע לאזור גשר הזערני, שם נפגע על ידי טיל נוסף. המשימה הושלמה.
I'm told that the bodies of al-Musawi, his wife and his child, were so badly charred, consumed by the fire, that they were all buried together in one coffin. So we've now moved on from the shrine to Abbas al-Musawi, the first Secretary General of Hezbollah, and we've come to the city of Baalbek in the Bekaa Valley. This too is a Hezbollah stronghold. It's a larger city, and up on a hill outside of Baalbek, you find the Baalbek Museum of Jihad. This is a museum that has been erected in honor of and to recount the history of the resistance to Israel and the Israeli occupation. Let's take a walk and see what they've chosen to commemorate here. So they begin with the commemoration of the Iranian Revolution. That's Ayatollah Khomeini. And here, this is the founding of Hezbollah in 1982. This is a young man who, a suicide bomber who killed an Israeli command collection point in South Lebanon. It looks like 1982. So these were various fighters of Hezbollah, leaders of the organization, who died during the Israeli occupation, which began in 1982 and continued to 2000. This commemorates the passing of Ayatollah Khomeini in 1989. And this is a commemoration of the first Secretary General of Hezbollah, Abbas al-Musawi. And here he's pictured with the current Secretary General, Hassan Nasrallah. So this is an Israeli Megach 7 tank. Only 2 of them were captured by Arab armies, one by Hezbollah and another one apparently by the military forces of Egypt, and that vehicle is in Egypt. These 2 vehicles are also Israeli military vehicles, armored vehicles. This is an earlier iteration of a Megach tank. Apparently it's the 5th iteration. So we've moved on now from the Baalbek Museum of Jihad, which is up on that hill behind me. You can see off in the distance a large Hezbollah flag. We have now come to the outskirts of Baalbek, and behind me here is what remains of a house that was destroyed recently in an Israeli airstrike. As you can see, the house was flattened, and fortunately no one was living in the house at the time. It was empty. Apparently the Israeli military thought it was being used for some purpose by Hezbollah, but locals say that it was simply an empty house and no one was killed. We're now going to be leaving the Baalbek region and heading back to Beirut. I'll have more to report. For now, this is Dimitri Lascaris signing off on May 26, 2024.